Welcome for everyone for this Wareham Zoning Board of Appeal for tonight's meeting. It is Wednesday, January 28, 2026. It is 6:30 p.m. and we are at the room 520 at the Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road. Also, we have a Zoom option with the passcode 908796. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Before I call the meeting to order, we're going to pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for reminding us, Richard.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do a roll call. I want to welcome Mr. Connor Alden, an associate member. He's back in Wareham. He's back with us. He was prior here, great member, so he's back with us now. Welcome, Connor. Also, Mr. Troy Larson, a member. Our clerk to my right, Mr. Jim Akabachi. Far left, Mr. Christopher Conte, Richard Semple, and myself, the chair, Nazi El-Khalasi. We're going to move forward to some quick business with the minutes of January 14, 2026. Okay, I see, Chris, you did some adjustment to them.
Yes, I sent some changes in, I reviewed them. I make a motion to approve them as presented.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Chris, second by Jim. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
And myself, aye. That carries. We're going to move forward to 3923 Wareham Cranberry LLC Tropical Smoothie, 3020 Cranberry Highway.
We don't have to read that in. That's just a preliminary, right?
Right. I believe, hi Phil, how are you? Anybody here from Smoothie? No. I believe,
Tropical
Phil,
smoothie?
you want to come forward? I guess you agreed. Just state your name for the record.
Phil Cordero from Allen and Major Associates.
Yeah, you guys agreed on the bond?
We recommended a bond. We met on site with the town planner, myself, and Karen Ferreira, the applicant for Tropical Smoothie. She's agreed to bond the incomplete work, which is some curbing, some masonry wall repair, and also some landscape plantings. She had provided us some information that she got from her contractors. We vetted it against Mass DOT pricing and gave a bond recommendation to the board if you were willing to entertain it. I do also note, I don't know if Josh is coming tonight, but the other matter that the board had to discuss is, if you recall, there were two landscaped islands on the approved plans that were not constructed. So my understanding is the applicant is going to ask the board for a minor modification to not construct those islands.
Okay, very well, and hopefully she'll come in the next hearing. But I guess, any question on the board on the bond? Are you guys okay with the number? I guess you came up with like 31-some thousand?
Yes, it was fairly limited what they needed to do in terms of replacement of curb and some masonry repair. So it was approximately 30,000 plus or minus.
Okay.
Are we approving or agreeing, or how?
No, if you haven't nothing, we're gonna continue it until they come up with the bond.
Okay.
So any question on that, Connor?
Continue to when?
Let's see. Troy, do you have any question on this?
Nope.
Jim?
Just when we're giving them till?
Until next hearing. We'll ask Josh, he's here. Chris, do you have any question on
No
that?
questions, no.
Richard?
Nope.
Josh, while I have you on that smoothie thing.
Yeah.
All right, have a seat.
My question to the board, could you guys make a determination on the islands tonight?
Can we make a determination tonight?
Maybe not an official determination, but just a path forward. The islands did have plantings in them, so it would change the bond amount.
All right. So would you like us to give a minor modification if the board wishes so?
That would be the request.
What's the board think? Minor modification to move the islands.
To move them or
So-
retain them? They're there existing and they want to keep them.
No, there were two landscaped islands that were approved.
That were
was
never
a-
installed.
There was a set of plans provided to the applicants that didn't have them. They constructed them without them. And now they pulled the light into the edge of the parking. One of them was a triangle shape that they've kept the triangle shape, but it's now painted on the ground. And then the one on the drive-through side of the building is now a parking space. A parking space where the mailbox is located.
And Alan Majors has been out there and he
Phil-
did the
Phil-
sign of the cross and everything and gave us a thumbs up and
Phil and I met the applicant out at the site. It's not a detriment to the property without the islands. It would just help us moving forward if you guys could make that determination.
I have no objections.
Chris?
I'm okay without the islands.
Rich?
Fine.
Yeah, I have no objections.
All right, let's make a motion to grant.
Move to grant and at the same time, continue until February something,
February 11th.
February 11th.
Okay, a motion by Jim, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. 500. We'll continue until February 11, and the minor modification granted. Very well. We move to the continued public hearing for the,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I believe you may be looking at the previous agenda before the amended one. There was a discussion about the rezoning, the recodification of the zoning bylaw.
we
I
could
have a-
discuss at the end. We'll table it to the end.
We have the consultant available online currently. The agenda just had it at the beginning.
All right,
We can ask him to make it brief.
sure. Let's do it. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
The agenda got adjusted and that got dropped or
Get added.
public hearing, Sylvester. It's not on here at all, is that?
The failure was on my fault. I didn't
We don't-
email you guys the amended agenda, but it was posted with the clerk.
So, okay, the right one's posted, so
Yes.
is it under preliminary business?
Yeah, it was actually before your continued, well, it's before
The
tropical
third
smoothie.
thing
but-
under preliminary,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand, and this is,
So, with us tonight via Zoom, we have Bob Mitchell from the Barrett Planning Group. He's working with the principal of that company, Judy Barrett, and they are currently looking over the zoning bylaw. They're going to recodify it in the sense that we'll bring it into compliance with state law, but really it's a big undertaking of reorganizing and clarifying. A lot of the language is going to be set in a tense that makes sense, but I'll let Bob speak to that right now.
Bob, you said Bob?
Yep.
All right, Bob, just name and address for the records, please.
Bob Mitchell, 151 Tremont Street in Boston.
Okay, go ahead. If you could brief
Okay,
us,
so-
we have a long night, so as quick as
I can
possible.
see
would be
that.
good. Thank you.
I will be brief, but if you have any questions, now's the time. We'll be around for the next few months, so this is just the first quick go-through. So thank you for adding it to the agenda, and good evening to all of you. As Josh just mentioned, the town hired myself and Judy Barrett to take a good look, a good review, do a diagnostic and audit of the zoning bylaw for the town of Wareham, because as many bylaws over time get kind of out of whack and gets hard to navigate them and find what you're looking for, and becomes inconsistent and gets out of conformance with state statutes and court cases. So we're looking at all of those items, primarily in how it should be organized, how it could be better organized, how the materials in the articles could be put together in a way that the same topics or similar topics are located in one place in the bylaw rather than across many articles, which is the case in your bylaw and most of the bylaws we work on. inconsistencies in so many different ways. Your bylaw is inconsistent in language, in text, in formatting, in indentation, in numbering. The numbering is logical in some places and illogical in other places. So we're looking at all of those kinds of things to reorganize into a more logical bylaw, a good table of contents, topics where they're supposed to be, up to date with state statutes, in conformance with state statutes. We've already been told about various problems in the bylaw. We're working with the bylaw review committee and the staff, and so the definition section is one we've been asked to look at for out-of-date definitions, missing definitions, conflicting definitions. You often have the same term defined multiple times in the bylaw, and it's not always consistent definition, and that causes confusion, so we're trying to avoid those kinds of things. So the cross-referencing in the bylaw is often wrong. It cross-references to sections of the bylaw that don't exist. It cross-references to section of the bylaw it doesn't make sense. It's clearly either numbers have changed or when it was adopted it was an incorrect cross-referencing. So that causes more confusion. So we want to eliminate all that kind of confusion and difficulty in reading this, making the bylaw written in a grammatical way, correct grammatical, correct punctuation, taking many of your sections and subsections that have a lot of information buried in long paragraphs. And where we can, we'll be putting that information into a simple list. In other cases, we'll be putting that information into a table. And when somebody's looking at a bylaw, when you're looking at a list or a table, it's usually a lot easier to understand what you're reading than reading long paragraphs with a lot of information buried in them. So those are kind of the structural parts of the bylaw we are looking at. Whenever we do these, and we do a lot of them together, we often hear about policy kind of questions. So we will be putting a list together for the town of these policy issues have come up, but that's a town decision as to how you want to tackle policy changes in the bylaw. And we can help you that if you want, but otherwise that is a town decision, not a consultant decision. So we've started our review. We've been working with the bylaw review committee and we've been talking with staff. And we've already come across some bigger issues, and I'll just name a couple of them. So one of the inconsistencies is the name of your zoning districts. And throughout the bylaw, many of your zoning districts are referred to by different names, and the name on the zoning map doesn't match the name in the zoning bylaw. So that's a consistent, you want to have consistent, use the exact same name for every zoning district everywhere it shows up. The other problem with the zoning map is you have some zoning bylaws, some zoning districts in the bylaw that are not on the zoning map. It's a state requirement that if you have a zoning district in the bylaw, it must be shown on the zoning map. So that will need to be corrected. The agricultural section is in the bylaw. We find and we have heard that it's very convoluted. It has a lot of extraneous language in it. It's not quite accurate. And one of the simple ways to get that cleaned up and organized correctly is to adopt the state statute definition of agriculture, which you don't have. And when you follow the state statute, which is a statutory requirement, it'll make it easier and clearer as to what should go into your bylaw under your agricultural sections. Just a quick example, you have a veterinary hospital listed as an agricultural use, and by state statute is not an agricultural use, it's a business use. And so cleaning up things like that. as I mentioned, the definitions. We're working on your table of uses and on your dimensional sections, dimensional regulation sections. We've had a lot of concern and problems with those two sections and how difficult they are to read or follow, or again, you have uses in the table that aren't defined, and you have definitions in the definition sections for uses that aren't in the table. That's an example of inconsistency. One of the other problems in the bylaw is what's known as the uniformity requirement of the state statute. So if you have a zoning district, all the uses in that, not all the uses, but if you have a use in that district, say you have a business district and you have a bookstore, every bookstore in that district has to be treated uniformly. And you have some districts where you have a single use and you say, well, on this street, it's treated this way, and on another street, it's treated a different way, even though it's in the same zoning district. That would be a violation of the state uniformity requirement. We haven't found a lot of those, but there's a number of them scattered around, and we're trying to pick all of that up, all of that information up to present a new draft that will come out, I think March or April, and people will have a chance to take a look at it. One of the issues with the bylaw that actually has a direct impact on the Zoning Board of Appeals is that in section, I believe it's 1133, there is language in there that on appeals from decisions of the Director of Inspectional Services, that someone doesn't like the decision that gets made by the director, and they can appeal that to the Zoning Board of Appeals, which of course is the way it's set out in the state statute. And then also in 1133, there's language in there about variances come to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that's also set out by statute. The problem is, in the Wareham zoning bylaw, for both of those sections, it says that the Zoning Board of Appeals votes by majority vote on appeals and variances. That's in direct conflict with the state statute, and I'm actually a little puzzled how it's in your bylaw, because the state statute has been forever, has said variances, appeals, and special permit applications all require supermajority vote.
Excuse me, and you saying our bylaw doesn't call for supermajority? Isn't that a state
It says in the
guidelines?
bylaw that you can vote as you can take a majority vote to decide on an appeals or variance.
Oh, it says simple majority? Oh, okay.
And the
I thought the
bylaw-
statute called supermajority on a variance.
Yes, I mean, that's an easy fix. You just change simple majority to,
I understand.
So, but that's one of the big examples of in conflict with state statute. So, those are the kinds of things we're picking up, and trying to make the bylaw cleaner, clearer, better organized, better written. Like a lot of bylaws that have amendments over time, amendments kind of get put here, there, and everywhere, and it kind of gets disorganized. And the language is kind of in different voices from different people, and it's hard to understand some of the language as we've been told and as we've been shown. So clean up vagueness, add missing pieces, and as part of this, we definitely want to hear from the people in town hall that are working, that work with the bylaw, like the zoning board and the bylaw committee and town planner and the director of inspections and planning board. So I've given Josh a simple table, and that we're asking the board members and staff if you could, and Josh can give this to you at tomorrow or whenever, just write down your top 5 either problems, issues, or questions you have with the bylaw in some specificity. because that would help us to understand. I mean, we're reading through the bylaw and we're catching things, but you all use the bylaw and you have experience with the bylaw. So if you could identify what problems you're having or what issues you're having, especially with the zoning board, the non-conforming section and the variance section, how is that working for you? I mean, do those applications go smoothly? Are there hiccups? Is there language that's missing? Is there language that's not well understood? So, so the more specificity you can give us, the more helpful it is. Sometimes when we do this, we get comments back that say, well, section 6.2 is hard for us to use. And that's the only comment we get. Okay, why is it hard for you to use? So, you know, we're looking for not only what the problem is, but why is it a problem? And that would be helpful to really strengthen your bylaw as we work to fix what we're hearing and what we're seeing on our own.
Bob, Bob, I hate to cut you short. I mean, we get the idea. Josh will explain it to us. You
Yep.
went on the schedule. It just fit you, and like as you see, we have a long night. But
Yeah,
everybody
so
get,
I'm
get
done.
the idea.
I'm done. Unless you have a question.
We
as I
don't
said,
have a question
You'll hear
now.
more from us in the future, but.
I'm sure
I
we'll
just
get
wanted to
together
give you a
more
quick-
in the future. We'll go over it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Bob.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Bob. We appreciate it.
I'll just
Okay.
finish this out real quickly.
I know, but anyway, well, we have a very important point.
Yep.
The zoning map and the field card, there's a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
And we should follow the zoning map, not the field card. A lot of time field card says Amartori and the zoning map says Village One. So-
Yeah, understood.
So we have to
Thank you,
follow
Mr.
zoning
Chair.
map. All right.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Bob. We will get our questions, our 5 questions, each one of us, and we'll get to you.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed. Where were we? Continue public hearings, 45-25, 17 Atlantic Ave.
Okay, that's being continued. It was intended to be continued until February 11th. We put it on for tonight in error. So neither the applicant nor anybody in favor or opposed.
So no one here for 17
They've all been
Atlantic.
notified. It's February 11th.
It was February 11 originally. It was done for
Yeah, so
45-25. Okay, shouldn't put it. So February 11th, so we don't need to make a motion because it was
we
done.
don't need to do anything. It's all taken care of.
Very well. We'll move forward to 3125 West Street, comprehensive permit. Yes, sure, of course. Have a seat. Now, public hearing still open, as I mentioned before. Have some straightforward questions, and let's keep it civilized. It kind of went a little bit out of hand last time.
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Board. We're here tonight to follow up to our initial presentation. I think it was a few months ago now.
I just need your name and address, both of you, for the
Yes,
record.
my name is Dean Harrison, 59 Lockwood Ave, Attleboro, Mass.
Joe Webby, Webby Engineering, 180 County Road, Plimpton.
Okay, very well.
We
Please
might have,
continue.
excuse me, we may have our architect show up too tonight.
Okay,
So just to reiterate from last meeting, that it was decided by the board to retain a peer review, which we have funded. I believe he's here this evening. He had a chance to review our application, and so we're here to obviously listen to the peer engineer. We have addressed his concerns. There's still more follow-up with him regarding that. We did complete a traffic analysis. We did submit it to the town, but I don't think he had, the peer review had a chance to review that. We understood it was pretty late prior to this, before this meeting, so obviously we can address that at another time also.
Okay, very well. Phil, did you have a chance going over this?
So, Mr. Chair, we reviewed the application. We did issue our peer review letter back in December. We had a number of comments, just scanning through. We had about 15, 16 comments. But by and large, the summary was the applicant provided a preliminary plan generally declaring their intent for development here, and there wasn't a lot of technical backbone to it. And it didn't address a lot of the normal elements, development impact report, bylaw elements that you would expect of an application of this size under a comprehensive permit, nor did they request a waiver from those local bylaw requirements. So our letter centered around that we would request more information to be able to adequately review this. At the tail end of last week, we did receive an updated letter from Mr. Webby, and it outlined their intent to address our comments, but they have not yet addressed the comments. They've agreed, we will revise, we'll give this, we'll do that, but as of this point, we've not seen any new materials to review. So all of our original comments still remain unaddressed. We still recommend they be addressed. They're very pertinent factors relative to the development, relative to site distances, stormwater circulation, et cetera, a number of concerns that the abutters had raised at the initial hearing. And unless the plans are advanced in a more technical fashion, I think those matters would still remain open.
All right, very well. Mr. Webby?
Yes, since our last meeting, a couple of things that we have done is we hired a wetland scientist to delineate the wetlands, and there's just a little bit of
Yeah.
an isolated vegetated wetland there. And so that would mean that we would have to file with Conservation Commission. We've also, because of the wetlands, we've taken the 3 buildings and we've moved them to the west side. Basically, the project is still the same. It's just the configuration of the 3 buildings.
What date is the revision of these plans? What date are these plans?
This is 1/23/26.
Oh, okay, so we have the old ones. All right, so did you hear what Mr. Cordero said? There's a bunch of answers, you have a bunch of questions.
So I guess the question really is how far do we have to go on the preliminary? I'll let Dean talk about that.
I mean, why, you want to vote? So if you go forward, I mean, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We do have to respond back. We went through the peer review. We did have some initial response from Mr. Webby. However, we are going back and we'll address all his concerns and his issues. Not with just a yes or no. We'll either, there's some revisions to our waiver request. We'll start to get in a little bit more detail on those now, since we have some great input from the peer review. And we will continue, Mr. Webby has addressed some of the design requirements. We are still reviewing that as the applicant, and we'll continue to make some changes. So we're happy with the progress to date, getting the peer review done, and now it is our responsibility to address his concerns. And like I said, there is nothing in there that we find that we can't address, and that we will provide responses in writing prior to the next hearing. And obviously, if there's any updates to any of the plans, we'll complete those also. As I mentioned, we did submit a peer traffic review, so we do know that he hasn't had time to review it, nor the town, nor the planner. So we do understand that, obviously, this is not over tonight, and that we do have to address more concerns. But at least I think we're starting in the right direction now since last meeting.
Okay. I thought you wanted to have a feel from the board which way they want to go. Unfortunately, in a case like this, it has to be, usually if you build in a deck or something, the board would tell you, you know what, don't waste your money, we're not gonna go for it. It's up to you, waste your money, come back before us. In a case like this, I personally, and I recommend the rest of the board members, because I know how it's gonna end up, we will not recommend anything until the last thing is provided. So there's no way we could give you a hint of yes or no. It's a case like this, it's no way we're gonna
No, we-
show our cards before we see everything.
no, we don't expect
You know.
right now. It's
And
not
especially if it
complete.
goes to housing, it's like premeditated decision, so that it will be a fool to do this.
Yeah, we do know we need to provide more information.
Right.
Like I said, I think the peer review did an excellent job, identified areas that we were lacking in, so we will address those. And like I said, the peer review traffic report's in and needs to be looked at too. Once we get to a point that we think we submitted all the information, we'll then ask you for your opinion,
Okay,
or your thoughts, because we know how opinions go.
all right, very well.
When do you think that might be?
I hope within the next 30 days, 30 to 45 days. It depends on everybody's schedule.
All right. I'm just gonna start asking some board question. Connor, are you interested to have a question, or are you not aware of that matter?
Not at this time.
Okay. Troy, do you have a question?
Not at this time.
Jim? Nothing?
I have one question.
Yeah?
Have you guys given any consideration to mitigation in the way of the number of units?
At this time, we're still proposing the 20 units in 3 buildings.
That's my only question.
Okay. Chris?
Jim took my question, I'm good.
Richard?
That's also mine. I thought we were kicking around and hopefully that we could get some kind of a
Okay.
decrease in number of units.
All right, very well. I want to move forward to the public. As you heard the gentleman, they need more time to address the town's consultant questions. We'll take some questions and just keep them precise, please, and just right to the point. So who wants to speak in favor of this project first? In favor? I hear none. Who's against this project? All right, one at a time. Want to come forward? So I'm gonna limit 5 times. Please, ma'am, you come forward. 5 minutes each. Go ahead. 5 minutes each, because as you see, we have a lot of people, and just try to be punctual to the point.
My name's Elizabeth Roney. I live in West Wareham at 946 Main Street, and I'm here to formally and strongly oppose the proposed Chapter 40B development at 4 West Street in West Wareham. As it has been discussed in prior meetings, a non-resident developer is proposing to demolish an existing 2-family residence on a 1.3-acre parcel and replace it with 3 buildings containing a total of 20 rental units, 5 of which would be designed as affordable under Chapter 40B. This proposal represents a 10-fold increase in density on a lot located within a quiet, established residential neighborhood made up of primarily single-family homes with only a small number of duplexes. This project is fundamentally incompatible with the surrounding neighborhood in terms of scale, density, and character. West Street was not designed, nor has ever been functioning, as a high-density rental corridor. The existing infrastructure, traffic patterns, and residential nature of the area do not support a development of this magnitude. Of particular concern is the precedent this proposal sets. During the October 22, 2025 meeting, a direct question was asked of the board. If a resident owned 3 acres on West Street, could they theoretically construct 60 units by filing the same paperwork? The response was yes. This acknowledgement makes it clear that the approval of this project would establish a blueprint that could be replicated throughout Wareham, regardless of neighborhood, context, lot size, or zoning intent. This decision extends far beyond 4 West Street. It sends a message that any quiet residential neighborhood in Wareham is vulnerable to similar development through state override, even though Wareham has already met the Commonwealth's 10% affordable housing requirement. Residents who relied on local zoning protections when purchasing their home should not be expected to accept that those protections are effectively void. While affordable housing is an important goal, it must be pursued through thoughtful, responsible planning, not by inserting high-density developments into areas that were never intended to accommodate them. Wareham should retain the ability to guide growth towards locations that are appropriate, accessible, and supported by infrastructure, rather than sacrificing established neighborhoods to meet minimum statutory thresholds that have already been satisfied. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the board to deny the 4 West Street Chapter 40B proposal and to protect the long-term character, stability, and planning integrity of West Wareham and the broader Wareham community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, time out.
You're gonna
You
clap.
no applauding, no applauding, no cheering. If this continue, we have to close this hearing. With all due respect, I don't make the rules. The state makes these rules, so please don't applaud, don't make any comments, nothing. Otherwise, we have to close it and let everybody go. Next person, please. Name and address.
Sidney Pies, 15 West Street,
Yeah.
and that's a tough one to follow. I want to make it clear that we are not against low-income housing or poor people or what have you. I mean, basically, most of us in this neighborhood are living paycheck to paycheck. We're all hardworking, middle-class people. It's the amount of units that we have a problem with. If they want to put 4, 5, 6 families in there, they could be the poorest people in this town. Put them in there. We don't care. They'll fit right in. But 20 is ridiculous. But I want to make a compare and contrast two projects, both located in West Wareham, within 500 yards of each other, mind you, both located within MR30 zoning district, both having an existing older structure on them. One, I'm sure you're familiar with, 1073 Main Street. 1073 Main Street consists of 1.83 acres of land, 280 feet of street frontage, with the frontage is obviously on Main Street, as sidewalks extend from Carver Road, along Main Street, across the pond, down Galt Road, and access to Route 28. Sidewalks all the way. To the right of 1073 Main Street, the Tremont Pond. To the rear of 1073 Main Street, wooded area. To the left of Main Street, Hayden Separated, commercial property that's on the market right now. Proposed 7 units. That's reasonable. Any opposition? That's 500 yards from this project. 0 opposition or no opposition at all. Reasonable. 7 units, 1.83 acres of land. Reasonable. None of us are fighting that at all. Now let's compare that to 4 West Street. 1.3 acres of land, 150 feet of street frontage, just a requirement for one single-family home. To the right of West Street, Bella Terrace, single-family home, small children. To the rear of this project, an active railroad track. To the left of this project, another single-family home. The frontage on West Street, 0 sidewalks, just like the young lady said. It's a quiet, older street with single-family homes, and obviously strong opposition as opposed to 1073 Main Street. Again, they're located within 500 yards of each other. I want to get back to that active railroad track. The last time reviewed that plan, there was not even a place for these 20 units for trash. You got 20 families in there. There was nothing on that plan that showed anything other than a parking lot and 3 buildings. There was nothing that even to take care of. Currently, there's 2 houses on that lot. I should have taken pictures and put it on a tripod like that of this vehicle that's been over a year and a half up on jacks. The trash for the 2 houses that are there, they overflow with trash. I should have taken pictures, put them on a tripod, but I didn't. But trust me, that whoever's in there now, they can't even maintain 2 units. What makes you think they're going to maintain 20 units? Back to that active railroad. Now, I have a question for this board as well. 20 units. Let's just say 1 child per unit. So there's 20 kids, even let's say 25. Where are these kids going to play? Parking lot, there's no yard. There's 3 buildings. They're all close together. Where are these 25 kids going to play? You know where they're going to play? Right in the back on the railroad track. You know, in between the railroad, this project, and the Tremont Pond, if they're going to go fishing, what they have to do, cross over this active railroad track to Cape Cod Express, and they plan on increasing it. In the summertime, I think it's 3-4 times a year that train is, I hear it all all day long, back and forth, back and forth. And I want to know where these kids are going to play, in the parking lot or in the railroad track. So I want to make sure that this is logged in. God forbid this thing gets accepted and we have small children and somebody's child gets killed. We already had some person get killed in Wareham, get hit by a train. I'm sure you all remember that. That was an adult. Now you're going to stick 25 or 30 kids in this compound? I want to make sure that it's logged. For God forbid if this thing gets approved, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, somebody's child gets killed. You're going to go back, it's going to be on your conscience, not mine.
No, it's not in our conscience. That's the state conscience. But while I have you, because I know you're in the real estate business, how many houses total there right now, that neighborhood?
I think somebody's going to address that. I believe, yeah, you're talking
Roughly.
on West Street?
Yeah, the West Street area.
I think about 20 thing, and it took 90 years to get these 20 houses in here. They're trying to double our
All right,
population
but I know,
overnight.
how many houses? 20, roughly?
Approximately.
27, okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Price.
Like I said, we're willing to work with them.
I know.
You know what I mean? If they want to put 3 buildings, duplexes, there'd be 6 families. You will more than likely to want to speak for everybody. There would be very little, if any, opposition with 3 duplexes. But 20, come on.
I get you. Next one, next person, please. I think Mr. Pai addressed everything. All right, well, yeah, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Jim Manise, Cranberry Highway. I'm also a member of the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust. Last meeting, there's a statement made that we supported this project. This project never came in front of us. A LIP program came in front of us. Of less
Same property?
density. Same property. And we supported a concept of affordable housing there, but not the density as presented. A letter was sent to the select board, and the select board only. They never took up the LIP program or the local action unit program.
How many units was the LIP?
It was 14, I believe.
Okay.
It was a 2-bedroom existing, a 3-bedroom existing, and I want to say either 12 or 14 additional.
Okay.
And again, we question the density, lack of recreational area. And a LIP is a friendly 40B.
I understand.
That never went forward. So now they're here for higher density for a regular 40B. And unfortunately, we didn't have the numbers at the time of the application in order to have a little more leverage. But it doesn't mean the board cannot vote to deny. And then the state could either move to overrule or refer it back to the board. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. If somebody else wants to speak, please come right up. Don't waste a whole minute trying to decide.
All right, just to clarify a couple of things. If, like, some question said, somebody has 3 acres down the road, can they put 50 units or 30? If they do the right procedures and they pass safe harbor, they can under 40B, unfortunately. These projects that Mass General Laws 40B is very complicated and it's very, very tough to beat. It's very hard to beat a 40B in the housing appeal committee. A lot of things you could do with 40B, unfortunately, not like 40A. But to go back, I'm just gonna give my own opinion. It's not the board's opinion. 40B was created not for poor people, like he said, or I would call them less fortunate. You're only poor in your mind. Not for the less fortunate people. It was created for middle class people. Most of the 40Bs people gets the teacher, police, secretary, janitor. So the less fortunate people who gets to rent these places or buy them. And 40B, the way it was designed originally, is to integrate the less fortunate people with the more fortunate people or with the middle class people, to commingle them together and give them a chance to live a better life. Although this is the idea, but the idea also, the theory behind it says not to change the demography of the area. In Wareham, we have on Head of the Bay Road 50 units. If you go to the surrounding neighborhood, there's 5,000 people. On Makepeace, in the woods near Red Brook, we just granted 180 units. The surrounding neighborhood, maybe another 5,000. If you look at places like Cremisa, there's some 30-some units was done long time ago. There's about 3,000. And that's, again, my opinion. In this particular area, I don't know if the applicant understands this area very well. This is its own neighborhood. And that's why the reason I ask how many houses there. It's 27 houses. Doing 20 houses, you are changing the demography of the whole area. And this area, like I said before, it's like the forgotten part of Wareham. You really have to go there to go there. Nobody drives by there. I've been here for 40 years. I know this area very well. You have to go there. You're not just driving by. So if the police doesn't go there for a call, he's not going there. Or the fire department, nobody's watching. No, ma'am, please, sir, no applauding. So it's not, so the 40B, like Mr. Pai says, we all Wareham blue-collar town, all of us, so we understand. We're not against it. We're not against affordable housing. But we are against changing the demography. On Head of the Bay Road, 150 units, there was only 2-3 people against it who just like to be against things, but it's not detriment to the neighborhood because it's compounded. Same with Makepeace, same with the one in West Wareham on the highway. It doesn't impact the neighborhood. Again, this is my opinion, and I'm sure Housing Appeal Committee will see it different than I see it, but this is how I see it. And somebody mentioned we met the 10%. It's true we met the 10%, but the applicant had applied prior, so his grandfather. So these things you can't ignore. We could sit down all day, say no, 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 and the person with the black robe would disagree, will say no, their grandfather. And I hate to find out the hard way. So this is my opinion. And if somebody recommend, just for the applicant, if somebody recommended 6 units, that has nothing to. That doesn't mean the board will grant 6 units. Just so you know. So it's whatever the neighbor like. It doesn't mean what the board like. So right? This is my opinion. I want to pass it to Troy to see what he thinks.
I pretty much feel exactly how you do.
All right, Jim.
I can echo your emotions and feelings. I can add to it that, yes, we have met safe harbor. Yes, this application is under the wire. I personally feel as though I'm speaking to the opposition, I'm speaking to the applicant simultaneously here. I feel as though if this board doesn't mitigate this and simply denies it, that's kind of dangerous. I'd prefer to see this mitigated. I'd prefer to see the neighborhood and the applicant come to an agreement on the number of units. As I've sat on the board and watched the board prior to my membership of the board, it's, again, my opinion that when people come with a 40B application, it's a little bit of let's make a deal. We know damn well we're not going to get 100. Let's not use West Street. Let's use Red Brook Road. And we'd like to put 150 units there. Well, go down and ask for 300. Nah, 300's too many. Ask for 275. It's a game, folks. The applicant knows it. The public should know it. If they insist on 20, they may get a negative vote from this board. I personally wouldn't be opposed to giving a negative vote for 20 units. I feel as though the state may look and say, well, they have met safe harbor. They did ask them to mitigate. They did ask them to adjust the number of units. Their guys are strong-headed, and they thought we were going to back them up. Nah, the denial stands. That's the way I feel it'll go. So I strongly urge the applicant to consider the number of units. That's my comment.
Thank you. Chris?
I think our chairman said this very well about this project. I totally agree with him. I think the high density of this project outweighs the need for the affordable housing project in this location.
Richard?
And I do echo all of the statements saying, but I agree that we should knock it down. I mean, again, Mr. Pius had a pretty good point, which I have had a problem with it since I looked at it. There is no place for anybody to enjoy green space, open space. Usually when these projects come through, there's an area that says open space, this, that, yeah. You can't get anything in there to even give a kid any kind of exercise without getting in trouble. So that again, I do believe that you're just crowding too much stuff in there.
That's irrelevant. That's for the health. All right, you heard our opinion. You wanna answer?
Yes, I'd like to have a moment to respond. First, to address the gentleman regarding the Affordable Housing Committee. He is correct. We were working originally, this to be a LIP. We worked extensively with the planner, the previous planner, the Affordable Housing Committee, roughly a year and a half. We got everybody to agree. We had a letter of support from the committee for 14 units. We went to the selectmen, kept asking for a meeting, kept asking for a meeting, kept asking for a meeting. No meeting. You tied our hands, folks. The other option is go to Mass Housing. There's three agencies, that provide site eligibility letters.
How long ago you filed for LIP?
Based on the letter. This is 24?
August 24?
Yeah, first started coming.
August of '24.
That's when the letter was written. I have to go back in the folder, and if you want to take the time, I can look.
No, I need the date.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me, give me a second, I can look in the folders. Bear with me. We have the narrative from the trust back from September of 2024. The select board, we presented a narrative to them back in September 24. Obviously, we were working on this before then. I can get you like this when we put the application together. It was through 20, at the end of 23 into 24.
At the end?
Like we had correspondence and like.
No,
towards the
when
end.
when did the application went to the selectmen? When did you request a LIP to the
Yep.
selectmen,
Well,
the
let me see
date?
if I can find.
When you filed the application?
Give me, I have to check emails now. May I ask Josh a question?
Sure.
Who was the chair at the time?
Judy Whiteside, probably.
Judy, okay. See if I can find something in my emails. Judy Cox? Judy Whiteside.
Whiteside, yep.
Let me see.
And Josh, while I have you, when did I apply for this? What was the date? I applied?
October 22nd.
My first email to Judy Westside was July 26, 2024.
Okay. So it's on 24 sometime.
Yeah.
Right.
So we-
You aware of the statute of 40B? You cannot, if you had filed for any application,
No, that's only if you've been approved. Excuse me, sir, I disagree. That's if you apply for an application, you've been denied by the zoning board of appeals or the planning board, and you cannot come back. And we'd never
no,
submitted.
no, hold on, time out. No, this is if it's a variance or special permit, and if you denied with prejudice.
We didn't submit anything. We did not get a chance. We went in front of the Board of
Not
Select.
with, yeah, you went before, you applied before the selectmen
You don't-
within 2 years, and you
Excuse
had
me,
no
sir.
answer.
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead,
Under the LIP program,
yeah.
to submit to the state, you have to get an endorsement from the Select Board. That's what we were going to. We didn't submit an application. We submitted a LIP proposal to them for an endorsement. I've been doing this for 30 years, sir. I disrespect
I don't
that.
doubt you know what you're
I
doing.
respectfully disagree with you on this one. We've been through this. You asked us, looked into the 40B, and your 10%, we did. New 10% numbers came out, by the way, just recently, too, that you
And
all
we
might
agreed
want
to it, we had no problem.
So, first of all, we have been working with this community for a while, okay? And so, I appreciate your inputs, all right? Right now, the proposal is 20 units in front of you, based on our design and based on everything we have presented to you. We still have the traffic report to be reviewed. We never said that 20 was a be-all. But right now, with the hostility and what we're getting here, you're right, we might not have anything to lose it going up to the HAC. You know, the decision has to be based on safety, health, or welfare. And unless the peer review finds something on safety, health, or welfare, the need for the affordable outweighs the need of the communities for the 10%. You know, we are not sitting here saying, take it or leave it. We are presenting our proposal. We would like you to look at the proposal based on 20 units.
And we are very
Right.
agreeing to look, believe me, and that's why we have our consultant.
Nope, that's all we're asking for right now. We're not asking you to make a decision on the 20 units.
Yeah,
We understand this is a process.
okay, yeah, we do too. So that being said,
We can't
Yeah.
look at it. We can't look at it until we see the actual plan. The final plan hasn't been shown to us yet.
I understand, that's why we're gonna continue this, they're gonna address the comment of the consultant, all these things, and in the meantime, I will check with council on, Josh, we have to check on that 2-year. I believe the gentleman has experience in it, but I'd like to have my own piece with it.
March 11th sound to you?
It's up to them. How much time you need
March
to
11th.
come back?
March 11th?
March 11th, yeah.
March 11th.
I'm forgetting February is a short month.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unless you, no,
Just trying to,
No,
I make a
no, I'd
proposal.
rather have the time, so we're prepared, you're prepared. Can you reconfirm with the the peer review, he's received the traffic report?
he will. Before March 11, definitely.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay,
We have the review.
okay, I just want to make sure, because I know emails.
You wanna shoot for February 25th,
I'd rather do March 11th.
March 11? Mm-hmm. All right.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this matter until the 11th of March.
All right, we have a motion to continue. Before we go forward and discussion on the motion, everyone here in the room again, you will not be notified
Before,
like you did before. So March 11, next date.
Yeah.
So remember this. Yes, sir.
before you proceed, I do have my architect here, who hasn't had a presentation on the architectural buildings himself. I know you're packed with a lot of work ahead. If we can hold off until March 11th, maybe, and at that point, or if you want to take an additional 10 minutes now to see the buildings, it's your,
And you know, to be honest with you, legally and personally, I will run it by the board. As long as they stamped,
Yep,
it's, and they by the book, I might see something I like, you not like, or that he doesn't like, or she doesn't like. So if they stamp, they're good plans.
They meet the
But
building code.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll ask Troy. Troy, you okay with this, or you want to listen to the architect?
I don't have a problem listening to him.
You don't have a problem.
Okay, Jimmy.
I just feel as though the plan might change between now and the 11th, so I just figured give the guy a chance to come forward
Okay.
with his best information, but I don't object. If he has something that he wants to get off his chest tonight, I'll listen.
Okay. So, Chris, I need one more person.
Are they any different from the plans that were submitted that we have?
No.
So, Rich? You don't want to hear it?
No, I think there's gonna be changes, I don't wanna hear it.
I mean, there's no changes from prior plans, right?
No, if you have the plans, we have them
We
here
did
tonight.
ask for to be
Right.
stamped last time.
Yes,
Because there
yeah.
was no stamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just obviously for the abutters, but they all have the plans also, the architect.
Then, the abutters would like to hear the architect? Yes or no?
The butters, he's talking to the room.
You? No, they don't care. I mean, no sense, I mean, they're the same plan.
Yep.
You ask for the stamp, you have the stamp. Unless any changes, we'll see them next time.
We didn't give you the opportunity
Thank
last
you.
time, that's all.
Yep, thank you.
And, all
Appreciate
right.
it. So my motion stands.
So we have a motion to continue until March 11, 31-25 on 4 West Street.
A
Motion-
second.
Second by Chris. All in favor to continue, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. To see you on March 11.
Thank you.
Same room, same place, same time. Thank you very much.
Next up is the...
Thank you. Thank you.
Is this that? Yeah. West Street? Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Okay, this is West Street. That's not West Street.
Hi, Dean.
And Schoolhouse Rocks is coming up,
Yeah.
right?
Why couldn't they entertain it and just say, let's look at it, and then they turn around and say, "Here's what I do." That's all.
All right, guys, next one, 32-25, Schoolhouse Rocks, 1073 Main Street. All right, any discussion, take it outside, please.
Bullshit, the fact that they tried to do 14 areas. These people should all be pissed at the fucking, excuse me for swearing, at the, select board. Be entertaining, say something, don't say nothing. Huh?
You gonna work?
I've been asked by a lot of people.
Hi, Brian.
Evening, welcome back.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Schoolhouse Rocks.
And they loud.
Yeah, well,
All right, much better. Public hearing still open. Counselor, your name and address?
Brian Grady, GAF Engineering, 266 Main Street, Wareham.
All right, very well. Last time we left it that you're gonna do, get site plan review. Mr. Cordero will,
you want to pass out
sure,
plans?
Mr. Cordero have some comments. Hopefully you address them all. And what do we have still outstanding from the, I read it a couple of days ago, his answers. Did you guys address everything or still, I know there was a question about the landscape and architect. We require landscape and architect.
Yeah, we've prepared revised plans addressing all the A&M comments, and there is a second review letter stating that we have addressed all their concerns.
All right, I'll hear it, from Mr. Cordero.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that's exactly correct. We did review revised plans, and we did issue an updated letter on January 19 stating that they have met everything. We just remind the board that they do have to submit final stamped plans for record. That's the remaining outstanding issue.
Final stamped. They stamped.
These are stamped, yeah.
Just making sure they're stamped, that's
Oh,
all.
Yeah, they have the registered land surveyor stamp, the landscape architect stamp that was requested.
All right.
But technically speaking, they've addressed the comments.
All right, very well.
So we don't need the subject to stamped plans, we have them.
Troy,
No, I have no questions.
Jimmy,
Nope.
Chris,
I'm good.
Rich.
All set.
Anyone on the public in favor or against this project? All right, and again, I'd like to iterate always about this. During construction, constant inspection with the town consultant. He'll give us like letters, reports, everything. Otherwise, you get in trouble during construction. Anything you want to add? You good? You good? You good? All right, that being said, let's close this meeting.
So, we're ready to just tell them that they can do it and to go away?
Go away. You can do it.
Do you need that in the form of a motion, go away? No. Make a motion to approve
To close.
1073 Main Street per plans.
We close first. Let's motion
You
to
want to
close.
close the public portion? Sorry, we haven't closed it yet. Motion to close the public portion of this meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, to close, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Now wishes.
Now I'll make my motion to grant, according to plans dated October 14th, 2025, peer reviewed on 1/6/26.
Were they updated on 114?
They were revised, when, yeah, January 14 to 26. So according to plan, all right, so motion to grant by Jim with the plan from GF Engineering revised originally October 14, 2005, 25, revised on January 14, 2026. And motion to grant as presented, and of course, that doesn't relieve you from any approval from any other board, Board of Health, Conservation, all these things. So do I have a second on this motion or any other discussion?
I'll second.
Second by Chris, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
And myself, Nazi, aye. It carries. Thank you, 500.
Thank you very
You
much.
good? Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
You guys have a good night, too.
Oh, I
Drive
will.
careful out there, it's cold, the roads are icy.
46-25, Kate Candle Paper Lane.
Cornish.
Candle Paper Lane. Who's here for Candle? Yes. Yeah. What, we just need the attorney, the applicant. You the applicant, sir?
That's right.
All right. Very well. All right. So, public hearing still open. I just need
Last
your
one.
name and address for the record.
The last one, anything on the last one? You guys got any?
Yep, my name is Matthew Costa. I'm the attorney for the applicant, William D. Conish, trustee of the JLS Realty Trust, and I'm with the law firm Gay & Gay PC, 73 Washington Street in Taunton.
Okay, I believe we aware what you're trying to do. Did the neighbors retain the counselor? Ah, okay. Want to come forward, sir, please? Your name and address?
My name is Dennis Connery, 245 Main Street, Wareham. I'm appearing today in behalf of Sean and Leona Campina, and I guess several other neighbors in the neighborhood.
All right, and you studied the file, you're aware of the matter and everything?
I have.
Sir, it's your turn first if you want to make an opening.
Okay, thank you. I think it's fair to say that we presented our case at the last meeting. We explained that this parcel of land is the last undeveloped parcel on Candlepaper Lane. We explained our position that the planning board's approval didn't specifically restrict this lot. The plans don't say not a buildable lot. We reviewed the zoning bylaws. The lot meets zoning, and my client applied for a building permit. That was denied, and we appealed here to the board. The issue we left with, I think it's fair to say, was the point that was made by some board members and some of the neighbors at the last meeting was the cover sheet of the planning board's approval. It called it a 13-lot subdivision, and then the point was made, it doesn't seem right to come in now for a building permit for a 14th house on this subdivision. So I understand the point, and I understand sort of rhetorically the point, but then when I went back to research, what is the law on this issue? Because I want to be prepared for the board, for my client, for, whatever legal action ensues. Does that really restrict it to forever? There can only be 13 building permits issued for this parcel. So I reviewed provisions of the subdivision control law. I reviewed case law, and this is just my representation to the board. And I know, I'm trying to be objective, but I also represent my client's interests, which I know everyone understands. And there is law that says if the planning board specifically restricts a plan and says there shall be no further subdivision, then you can't go back and further subdivide without going back to the planning board. But this isn't a subdivision. This is a request to use an existing lot. And I think arguably, because some of these points are arguable, if the planning board had labeled this lot not a buildable lot, to be conveyed to the town, to be conveyed to a homeowners association, and that would be a very fair point. How can you come in here without revising the plan with the planning board? But our response to all that is that the planning board didn't provide that restriction. It did restrict some of the lots, and I made this point last time. I'm sorry to repeat myself. And I am grateful from Mr. Chairman when you joined the meeting from the other side of the world. I really do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And you were present here for that. But the planning board approval, it says lots A, B, C, D. They're not buildable lots, and it explains why. It doesn't say that about parcel E. So when we look at it, we honestly can't explain a legal reason that it's not a buildable lot. So that's our position. And that when the planning board had that label, 13 lots, it needs to do more than that to restrict lots. There's no legal restriction. There's nothing on the plans that says not a buildable lot. It meets zoning. It seems like they understood that too, because it says parcel E, and it says to be landscaped, but it didn't go so far to say you can never build on it, that it's restricted in some way. It's to be conveyed to others. So my client, he is the developer, and he stuck with this project. It was approved in 2004, and in 2009 and 10, when the economy tanked and a lot of subdivision developers walked away, he stuck with this project. It was a financial hardship for him, and this is just the background of the project. He finished the project. We went through the paperwork last time. The town engineer confirmed all the work was done, 100%. The street was done. My client, when all the lots were done and the planning board wasn't holding any security anymore, he still went forward and had the as-built done. He still went forward and tried to follow the street acceptance procedure to have the street accepted, even though at that point the lots were sold, security was gone. Some subdivision developers don't follow through, and there's not a lot of leverage to make them, but he did it. When it went to the planning board for the recommendation to the selectmen and town meeting, they imposed new conditions that weren't originally part of the project. They said there needs to be a homeowners association formed, and then this was a new requirement. It's not part of the subdivision. Parcel E and drainage infrastructure needs to be conveyed to a homeowners association. The lots had all been sold. My client, it's outside of his powers to, after the fact, create a homeowners association. So even though the work was done, the planning board did make a recommendation, but with these new conditions that were outside of my client's power, he can't form a homeowners association. He sold all the lots. The town meeting gave a positive recommendation, accept the street, accept the road. The selectmen didn't do it because the planning board had these new conditions. My client, he feels like he's left holding the bag. He did everything he was supposed to do, and these new conditions came in. He went to bat to get this project done the right way. He did the final, he did everything he was supposed to do. At this point, the town doesn't want to accept parcel E. There's no homeowners association to accept parcel E. And my client looked at the whole situation, all of the financial hardship he ended up having with this project. And when he looks at the law, he says, well, the bylaws say it's a buildable lot. Planning board didn't say it was restricted. What else is he supposed to do other than try to use the lot? And, you know, if a planning board puts a permanent restriction on a buildable parcel, the town is supposed to pay for that. That's a taking. Say the planning board says, we want you to create a park. We want this buildable piece of land to be preserved forever. If the developer doesn't agree to that, the developer is supposed to be paid. So he's been put in a difficult position, and he has this building application for what is really, if you go down there and look at the lot, it's unusual. It's this round shape. But there's plenty of space there to preserve landscaping or to preserve some you know, the trees that are there, to provide some so the screening for the neighbors. The plan shows a reasonable-sized single-family home. It would fit in with the neighborhood. And so, you know, that's my client's position, is he would like to have a building permit approved for the parcel. It meets zoning and it's not restricted.
Let me ask you a question. So you think it's like restitution for him to build all the trouble he went to?
No, not really. I didn't mean to present it that way. I'm just providing some background. The position is based on the facts. It's a lot, complies with zoning. He'd like to have a building permit for it, and it was never restricted in a way that he should be prohibited.
Okay, but he originally did the 13-lot subdivision. That was his intention, right?
That's correct.
All right. So you think a judge will look at the bylaws or the intention of a case?
I think
You've been before judges before, you understand.
I think they would look at the bylaws and the law and restrictions.
I understand you look
Right.
at bylaw, but in a case like this, you don't think a judge will look at the intention?
I think it has similarities to a case where, when the planning board doesn't restrict further subdivisions, and someone comes in with an A&R on what was originally a 13-lot subdivision, they say, I want to divide these two lots. They were very big. I want to further divide them. If the planning board didn't prohibit that, they're allowed to do it. I think it's a similar scenario. It's like once the road is laid out, the frontage is there, even if a parcel that originally wasn't contemplated that someone would use it, they have the right to use it at some point in the future. Every lot you deal with, at some point, you know, there's a variance. There's we want to divide the lot in two. A lot of those, somewhere in the Registry of Deeds, there's a plan that showed a certain number of lots. And some point in the future, someone comes in and says, you know, I'd like to put in one more. On this one, we don't even have to subdivide it. It's just a lot that's there.
Right. Well, as I said before, I think this is the wrong place to fight this battle. This is way above our pay grade. But the way the zoning looks at it, it's a buildable lot, no question asked. However, what comes with it? What's the burden on there? What's the intention? What was the whole thing? So I'm going to give you another example. Say you have a lot underwater in the MR30. You have 150 feet of frontage and 30,000 square feet. You come to zoning, to us, you say, is that a buildable lot? You say, of course it's buildable. This is my stamp. Go home. You go to conservation, they tell you, well, it's not buildable because it doesn't meet our criteria. So the eyes of zoning doesn't mean the lot is buildable. So if we tell you the lot is buildable, and whatever contract the homeowner has with the builder or whatever the planning board had a deal with him or with the developer has nothing to do with us. So it's very gray. And I'm so glad they retain an attorney so he understands what I'm talking about, and maybe, I'm sure they understand what I'm saying, the neighbors, but he could pass the message on a clear area. I'm sure we're going to listen to him. Again, I retain my situation, I mean, my position that in the eye of zoning, it's a buildable lot, but it doesn't mean, and I stop right there. From there on, it's the burden on the attorney and the neighbors to go somewhere else and do what they have to do. I'll start with the board, then we get to the council, okay? If you don't mind. Troy or
I have no questions.
Jimmy?
No, I have no new questions.
Chris?
I don't have any new questions, no.
Rich?
Nope, not at this time.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago, or in a day, I guess, I got a call to look into this to see what my thoughts were, if I could come up with an argument. And I came up to Town Hall, and the first place I went was to the assessor's office, and I asked the assessor, I said, what does this acronym mean when they describe a parcel? And this donut lot, that I'll call it, it has an acronym at the end of it. I said, what does that mean? He says, okay, non-buildable, or not non-developable, and that's obviously it's only assessed for $13,000, so it hasn't been assessed as a buildable lot.
Because it's called the parcel?
I asked him, I said, how did you come to that determination, and it preceded him? So then I went across the hall and talked to Sonia and in the planning department. And I said, where's the planning department, where's the file on this? Because I know, I've been doing this long enough to know that there's give and take with the planning board or whoever, and especially in subdivisions, there's trade-offs and everything. So he said, well, so Sonia says, well, something's down in the vault, but it also should be across the hall in the clerk's office. So I went over across the hall, and they only went back to 2017. This is a subdivision that was approved in 2005, so 21 years ago. So Sonia said that she'd go downstairs and dig out the file just to see if I could find some notes about what the planning board thought and what the developer thought at the time, because that's what this kind of process is. Well, what you try to look at what we got left and say, well, what do they mean by this? Because council is right. There's nothing written on the subdivision plan, the definitive plan, that says non-buildable. But what is in the records is that this, and they were in my brother's presentation to the board. He gave you a copy of the certificate of approval of a definitive plan, and that's one of your documents. And that states 13-lot subdivision, and then it said it conditions with the following conditions. And then everyone over to page 1 and 2. Now these are not private restrictions. The planning board refers to them as 81U conditions. They're part of I submit, part of the subdivision process, and the planning board has authority to set conditions. They say, you get this subdivision, but these are the conditions. All right, so I get down to condition 14, and it said, parcel E designated as a parcel is to be landscaped. So there was no requirement that any of the lots be landscaped. So what I see this to be is the classic trade-off of the planning board. They get some green space in exchange for giving permission. They have discretion, and they can grant permission to allow the subdivision or change it. And I submit that, to me, the most logical thing is that they agreed to landscape this, not for a week or a month, but forever. And that it not be a lot, because they didn't call it a lot. There's a distinction between a lot and a parcel. They're different. So then we, so I don't know what the documents would say, if I could find the file, and it's probably down there somewhere. But I submit that what this really is, this donut lot is right in the center of the subdivision. So it's not on the side, and the planning board has jurisdiction to amend the subdivision plan or modify it. So, and I'm surprised that I thought that in the papers that were filed with this case would have been the subdivision plan, but it wasn't. There's just a site plan as I can see it, that all there is. So my client lives right in what would be the back of the house that's going to go up. So he's going to be looking at the backyard. But that's not a... I think council is in the wrong church. I think that the planning board should be asked, what do you guys say? This is in their jurisdiction, in my opinion. It's not the zoning board of appeals decision. And interestingly, Paul Turner deferred and said that he didn't think that it was necessarily entitled to a building permit, but he passed it to you guys because he can't, I don't think he can give stuff to the planning board, but
He can't.
I don't think he can. So I don't think my brother has met his burden of convincing this board that he's entitled to it because it's dimensionally big enough. I submit that this was likely a part, this lot, that is now quite valuable, I presume, it was never landscaped. Anybody who drives over there, and I drove over there last week, and I drove around it, and I said, this is just a forest. I mean, you couldn't, a squirrel could barely run through it, it's so thick. And so there was no attempt to landscape it, to meet that condition. So maybe, I don't know why my brother hasn't gone before the planning board to modify this or get a clarification. I suspect that, and I learned today from my brother's comments that I didn't know that the planning board had set additional conditions. I wondered why this was not a public way. It hadn't been accepted as a public way. It's still a private way. And but this is clearly part of the subdivision. It's right in the middle of the subdivision, and likely it was, this was traded off. Or this was a piece that they threw to the conservation people that they'd want to preserve neighborhoods and forests and that stuff. So that's essentially what I looked at, and I said, I don't think that this board is the board to make the decision. It's a planning board issue, and if they say that we're going to amend our decision on a subdivision and eliminate your obligation to landscape it and make the 13-lot subdivision a 14-lot subdivision, well, then I'll probably have a pretty hard case to win on that score, even though the whole design of this donut lot kind of offends some people. And the zoning bylaw, if you look at it, in more than one place, and I got a kick out of the presentation earlier about changing or straightening out the zoning bylaw, there's references about stuff you can do in your backyard that you can't do in your front yard. I know you can put a shed back behind the line of the house. Well, what do you do with a round lot? And you can keep a boat in the backyard, but not the front yard. So, in this particular, I don't know of any other round lots that I've ever come across in all my practice. But this is what we have.
It's a first. It's a first.
It's a first for me, I don't know.
Yeah, I never seen, but besides the story,
Is it
we
frontage
did,
or backage? I don't know, you know?
we did recommend last time to go to the planning board and get a clarification. I know what the clarification gonna be. We're just gonna play devil's advocate. I know exactly what the planning board gonna say. The planning board gonna say it's a 13-lot subdivision, period. Now it comes back to us. It's come back to us. Now where we go from here?
I don't think it can come back to you. If they make the determination, you don't have authority over the planning board.
Of
do you?
course you can. Of course you can. You could come here and I could grant you a variance to do 10 houses in that cul-de-sac. Of course we have. Can't we?
I don't think you can change a subdivision.
Counselor, if the applicant comes here and ask a variance, you don't think we can? Of course you can. But we're not gonna argue this. This is not what before us.
Yeah.
The thing is, so he has an application before us. He has application. So what do you recommend? We say no action, denied?
I think you uphold the decision of the building commissioner and deny the building permit and let him take his remedy where he can find it.
We thought of this. I thought of this, but
Can we, excuse me.
go ahead.
Can we refer it over to planning and get them to make a determination as to,
We are gonna want the planning to come, but I know they're gonna say 13-lot subdivision. That's what they're gonna say. And we never ran to a problem
I
like
get-
this.
I
We
get-
never had this thing.
my question is, do we need to come to our decision before they come to their decision?
It would be, we definitely need to hear from them because I know it's gonna end up in court. I'm assuming it's a valuable lot. I'm sure the applicant's gonna go to court and fight it. The question is,
If we deny it. If we approve it, then the
Neighbor will
opposition
have to
is gonna
approve
have to take it to court.
right,
Now, this was an interesting case I learned something from it, and as I often do. The planning board, the homeowner does not have the right to enforce this condition. None of the private homeowners in the neighborhood have the right to appeal or right to go to court over this subdivision condition. It's strictly in the jurisdiction of the planning board, and the planning board can do whatever they want with it. They can not enforce it. That doesn't give my client the right to enforce it. The planning board can say, well, we're not going to enforce it, we're not going to get involved in it, and that's the end of it. But I think they have to have their chance to enforce their condition that they put in their subdivision finding. You know, can they just be ignored? They have been ignored for 16 or 17 years. The applicant hasn't done what they told them to do, and now I guess they got other stuff that they want the applicant to do. So,
all right, but let's, again, devil's advocate. Wouldn't you better off, say we deny this gentleman, right, deny the permit, he appeals us. We go to court, goes to judge, tell him meets frontage, meets zoning. Town council gonna say, oh yeah, you're right, meets frontage, meets zoning, it goes the permit. If we grant him the thing, if I'm the abutter, I would like to see me, the board, us, grant him the permit, because you'll have a chance to appeal it and explain your situation. Because if it's the other way, you're not gonna have a chance to go to court and explain your situation.
I see it just the opposite.
You see it the opposite?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just remember, you see that? Okay, I don't.
Yeah, I
but-
see, I want to stay in my lane, okay? I don't think you've got the authority to grant the relief that he's looking for. I think that the building commissioner is correct, given the, or the, Paul Turner is correct, given the information that he has. And there's a I think the subdivision controls over, you've got to ignore the subdivision, which is what the,
I know-
it's right,
I know what
this
you're
is something
saying.
that's right in the middle of the subdivision. And the
I
sub-
totally agree with you, and I totally understand the intention of the developer originally with the 13 The intention was 13 lot, and this is, I think, that's the only thing is going to help the neighbors in court. The intention was 13 lots, but I don't want to do something. It's gonna jeopardize your client or his client. We don't want to do something on the board because it's a new to us. This isn't adding a deck or requesting variance for height. We just want to do it right. That's all we're doing. I mean, and like again, this is the wrong ring to fight this battle. It should have been in court to begin with, not here.
I'm sorry.
Just go ahead.
When somebody comes to the town, just talking in generalities now, they come and they want to do an A&R, approval not required,
Right.
and build on a lot. Who do they go to?
Planning board.
Uh-huh. Isn't this an A&R?
It's not. It's already a lot.
Well, when was it made a lot?
Just let
So
me explain
I can-
to the
I can-
neighbors
I can
something.
address that, yeah.
If I may,
Okay.
if I may. Let me clear something to the neighbors. A parcel, a lot.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Can you just pause the hearing for a second? It looks like we lost our Zoom connection.
Okay, 1 second. let me pause.
Just so that we can stay on Zoom.
We don't want to throw an open meeting law violation into all this mess.
No.
And is Zoom now required at open meeting?
Right.
You advertised it.
We advertised that it would be available. Okay. I spent a good part of my life looking at one of them little things. It used to be an hourglass. Then I bought a better computer. Maybe somebody hit a pole and we lost, it was an interesting one.
Josh would be back there, behind. Did a plug come unplugged behind you, madam?
Were you fooling around back here?
Yes,
Pulling cords out of the wall?
on purpose.
Good thing the football game isn't on.
Is that what it was? We got unplugged?
No.
There is internet in town.
Yeah, I've got the
I got the
wireless.
Wi-Fi.
You got internet? You got Wi-Fi
Okay.
out of the building?
Out of this building, yeah, the guest
Who
account.
else would you? Oh, it could be a hotspot, yeah.
No, I don't have a hotspot.
Unknown error has occurred.
I just want
I
to see if
gotta-
if I can connect into Zoom.
I got a text message with a picture earlier from a family member showing herself standing outside of a crazy sign that says House of Rage. What the heck is this? You pay money, you go to this place, they give you a face mask, and they have computers that are working, TVs that are working, all kinds of glassware, and you go in and you beat the shit out of everything. You kill a computer, you smash it, whatever it is. It's,
Stress relief.
We've all thought about it. So this guy's making money.
This guy's making money. I got it today. It cracked me up. I say, are you kidding me?
I do that at my house. I don't even need to. TV was pissing me off. I opened the upstairs slider, walked over and fired that thing right off, and I got a new one. It happens a lot. People see things in my house, they're like, what happened? Technology, man. That's what it ends up like.
I just go silent.
Better man than me.
We good?
Yeah, but when I get noisy again, it's not a good thing.
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
All right.
I think we're back on.
Back to the parcel Allah.
Are we back alive?
All right, parcel Allah. It's one and the same. It's one and the same.
Parcel.
So if a parcel meets zoning, it's a lot.
Right.
You could, and if it's a parcel, you could always develop it and make it a lot. So I don't think the word the parcel and a lot. Don't put your hopes on that word. Trust me.
Should we,
Go ahead,
I'm
sir.
sorry. The question about what an A&R is?
Yeah.
So an A&R is, so a visit to the planning board is needed anytime there's going to be a change in lot lines, basically. So.
Engine, I'm sorry.
Lot lines.
Lot lines.
So when a parcel has sufficient frontage on an existing road, basically, then it can get the A&R, which means it's not a subdivision. And subdivision is sort of a term of art when you need to create frontage, so you need to have a plan that shows a road. That's all subject to approval by the planning board. And so when you create frontage through a plan that has a new road on it and it shows the parcels with the frontage they have, that's a subdivision. So any plan that changes existing lot lines usually needs a planning board approval. And the thing that's different here is we have an existing parcel, lot, whatever word you want to use. There's no change in lot lines, so there's no need to go to the planning board. The example of the variance before, so if this board approves a variance, that's under the zoning bylaws. But then if there's going to be a lot that's divided by a variance, that still needs to go to the planning board for its approval too. So both boards would.
No, it don't, to make lot lines.
Right, to make lot lines. So
Lot
a variance to split one lot into two.
Right, that
That
you
goes
need.
to the planning board.
Right.
So with this one, we have an existing lot, existing parcel, so.
Are you willing to go to the planning board, get a clarification on this matter?
So our position is that this, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I guess the short answer is that we feel that we shouldn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because this board enforces the zoning bylaws. So we're here in front of this board. The real issue for this board is the zoning bylaws. It's not, is there a private restriction? Is there some other board that imposed a restriction? Like if conservation said you can't do something, it might be a conservation issue, but it's not a zoning bylaw. And what our concern is if we go back to the planning board 20-something years after it did something, it's too late. The town already said that this subdivision was done. All the conditions were satisfied, including the one about the landscaping. And it's open to interpretation, so there's no protection for my client from the board just deciding it based on reasons that we would have concerns about. So we're going off of just existing documents, like every subdivision. There's existing restrictions, there's existing plans, there's restrictions on the plans, and that's what we want to go off of. We don't want to go off of asking the planning board to interpret something that was done 20-plus years ago. It's not fair.
I think the interpretation I want to hear from them, and I think what they're gonna say, it's a 13-lot subdivision, period. That's what they're gonna say. They're not gonna say, oh, this, I don't think they're gonna, or they could say anything else. They already said it's to remain landscaping. Landscape the parcel,
So
it's the only thing they could say it's a 13 lot subdivision.
So part of our opposition to that is that once it leaves that board, they put everything in writing, it's done. It's too late for them to reinterpret what they already said. We're stuck with what they put in their decision. That's how it is for every board. It's how it is for this board, when you have variance conditions or whatever. It's too late to then weigh in afterwards and kind of put new spin on what that meant. For better or for worse, we're stuck with what they said. That's it. That's our position.
All right. Troy, what do you think? Yeah, 1 second. What do you think?
I don't know what to think.
Jimmy?
I spin it around in my head, and I've watched Wareham. I don't know why, but this makes me think of when McDonald's want to build where the, across from Morse Lumber there, where the Noria is there, but over near the police station. The town said, yeah, okay, go ahead, build it. And then people said, no, we don't want it there. And they said, okay, we changed our mind. And they were, you know, it's like, this town's done some weird things, but I think it's, you know, the planning board probably aren't even the same members. Maybe some of them have been on the board.
Couple of them. One of them is.
So, as much as it's not fair to them, it's almost not fair to us either. But I'll tell you, from the very beginning, I looked at this and I said, we're zoning. The question in front of us is this: does this meet zoning? It has the frontage, it has the lot area, it has the floor area ratio, it has all the things that it has to have to get a permit. So I tend to want to say, yeah, it's a lot. Build, you know, and force the opposition to appeal that decision. I just think it's going to end up in a courtroom anyway, so we got to make a decision, and I think our decision, I think I would lean towards it meets all the requirements.
My position is, clearly, the planning board originally defined 13 lots.
Absolutely.
And that was the intent. And I think my opinion is they said it needed to be landscaped. And I think the landscaping meant forever. If they intended it to be a lot, they would have had 14 lots. I think it's a shame that they couldn't form some sort of association in the neighborhood and either all pitch in and buy this and it becomes part of the association. And I think the intent was for this never to be built on, that lot, in the middle of this subdivision. I don't know if the owner would be willing to, you know, entertain a
Purchase, a sale?
a purchase or sale, or even from preservation funds from the town.
That's, yeah. This is beyond us.
But
It
to
should
me,
be outside
I
the-
think the intent was this was to always to be remain
13 lots.
landscaped in 13 lots.
Yeah, I agree too. Rich?
That's what he told us.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't going to be built on, the street was going to be accepted by the town. I lived in a private road. I didn't-
Hey, sir, you should be at a microphone and you should be identifying yourself.
I'll give you the chance to come forward in a minute, because you're supposed to be on the mic, has to be on record. I'll give you 1 minute, Richard.
So I tend to agree that it was a 13
Lots of-
lot subdivision. And then with, again, what Chris was just saying, I agree with it. It said it was supposed to be landscape. Things fall through the cracks, and now it's here.
Right.
Like Jim says, it's zoning, we could just say, yep, we approve it, and let it go from there. So,
All right, Counselor, you want to?
I was just going to make one point, that I think, my brother says the papers are already, or the information is all written down. Well, I believe that it is, because of this landscaping issue. We have to bring our experience and our reasoning to whatever we do, especially so what, what do we think happened? Well, we don't, if it said on the plan, not ever to be built upon, we wouldn't be here tonight. So we've got to get as close to that as we can. Try to figure it out. It's a puzzle. And I submit that there's adequate evidence as to what the parties thought, that the planning board thought, and it was a trade-off for the developer at the time. But no way was that going to be temporarily landscaped, but you can build on it whenever you want. That's not a logical conclusion to come to after hearing these facts. So it's important to stay in our lanes, you know, and that's what I'm trying to do. Just dealing with the building inspector made a decision. Was he wrong or was he right? If there's not a preponderance of the evidence that he was wrong, then I submit that it's this board's obligation to uphold his decision and then make the petitioner, or give him, the petitioner, the choice as to how to go forward, whether it's go with the planning board or what. But that's how I see it. And I think we're not guessing when we come up with that conclusion. And that's the most logical explanation to what happened 20 years ago. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. Could I just give the board just kind of one more kind of thought
Sure.
to think about? So under the subdivision, so the idea is that this is green space forever for the neighborhood. So in other words, it's kind of like a park, right? Like, you know, there's a neighborhood, there's a green space, it'll be for the benefit of the community. So the subdivision control law says that when a subdivision plan sets aside land for a park, that restriction's only enforceable for 2 years, and if the town doesn't come forward and basically pay the owner the money for the park, it's not enforceable. So I think if the idea is this was supposed to be kind of like a park, then if you look at the subdivision control law, there's a provision in it that says, well, if this was restricted to be a park, to be green space for the neighborhood, and
But it wasn't dedicated as a park. It was,
I understand, but that's just kind of the idea in the subdivision control
Well,
law.
I could always
something
tell-
for us to think about.
I know, I could tell you, it says to remain landscape. It didn't say to remain landscape with a house in it, too. I mean, there's way different things you could look at it. I want to listen to, sir, you wanted to say something? Please come forward. Yeah, you have to come, have a seat, state your name, and speak your mind.
Is there a deed for this parcel? Do you know?
Of course there is.
What we're dealing with
Say your name first for the record. They have
My
to.
name is Norman Klein, and I'm at 12 Candlepaper Lane,
Okay.
West Wareham,
Yes,
and I'm right across from this.
okay,
It was the first house down there in 2008,
yes.
the only one down there. I asked specifically about the road, because I moved off a private road, and they said this was going to be accepted by the town, because the town said, do this, and they're going to do it. Okay, boom. The lot, no, it's not going to be built, it's not a buildable lot. That's what I was told. You know, that's all I can say about that is, I wouldn't have bought the place if it was going to be a private road and a house right there, I'm looking at a driveway out my front window. It just,
I know, I understand, and a lot of times people tell you, oh, this can't be built, it's built, but unfortunately, this isn't how it works. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of times real estate tell you, oh, this lot next to you never can be built, and all of a sudden it's built, but what do? Things are not like, it doesn't work like that. But thank you anyway, thank you for your
just
time.
wanted some history, what we're being told when we moved there.
All right. Well, I think we should close this public hearing and each one speaks their mind. And because apparently, I don't think the applicant wants to go to planning board. And like he said, what's the planning board going to do? I know what's going to say. They're going to say 13 lot subdivision and the lot to be remain landscaped. Exactly what I said. They can't say anything else other than what they wrote 21 years ago. And I just keep my finger crossed. I mean, we'll do the best we can with our vote, and hopefully our vote stands, whether it's a yea or nay. So, I don't know. That being said, I mean, you guys want to add anything? I'd like to close this public hearing if the board agrees and come for a decision, because it's like being dead horse. We already know what's before us.
I'll make the motion to close the public portion of this hearing, stop hearing any testimony.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Rich. All in favor to close this public hearing, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So the question before us, is there a motion to uphold the commissioner letter that the lot is not buildable, or to overturn his decision, say the lot is buildable? So, what do you guys say?
Well,
Everybody can throw any motion they want.
That's what's before us, so I will make a motion to uphold the commissioner's decision.
So upholding the commission's decision, meaning the lot is not buildable.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
We have a second by Chris. All in favor, say aye on that motion. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. It's down, and it's not buildable, and you know what to do, and I hope for the neighbors' sake that works for you guys. I wish the outcome was different for the neighbors' sake. Hopefully, let's see what happens. I'm sure it'll be remanded to us at one point.
Thank
Thank
you
you
all for
very
your
much.
time and for all your consideration. We-
Thank you.
we
Thank you
appre-
for
we
your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Counselor. All right, public hearings. Robert Sylvester, 51 Standish Ave, 50-25 for a special permit.
The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing January 28th, 2026 at 6:30 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 50-25 for a special permit from the principal use regulation requirements of Article 3, Table 330, under the Wareham zoning bylaws to Robert Sylvester of 51 Standish Avenue, Wareham, Mass., seeking to operate a home occupation and a home office located at 51 Standish Avenue, Wareham, Mass. This appears on Wareham Assessors Map 121, Lot 1594, in the R130 zoning district.
All right, name and address for the record?
Robert Sylvester, 51 Standish Ave.
Okay, so what kind of business you trying to do in your house?
It's just going to be a small exterior demolitions business, service-based business. So nothing will really be operated at the house. It'll just kind of, I just kind of need a home base for it. So all client visits, well, there won't be client visits, meetings, any type of, if eventually there are other workers.
So you need it for a business certificate?
Yes.
Where's your equipment gonna be parked? Where's your trucks gonna be parked?
So right now, since I'm just planning on starting it and kind of testing the viability of it, I'm planning to rent trucks, and then I'm thinking eventually it'll be a 3/4 ton pickup truck in the driveway, which fits 4 to 6 cars. And I noticed that one of the regulations said that if there are any lettering on the truck or anything like that, it needs to be parked in the least least visible spot. So we currently have 2 personal vehicles there. So any vehicles or anything will be behind our personal vehicles. And then eventually after that, it might be a trailer. I'm planning on no larger than like a 7x10 or 6x10.
A trailer?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so right now I'm thinking a definite is the truck, and then depending on kind of reductions in cost versus renting trailers and things like that, that would be down the line like a year or 2 even.
I personally, I'm not a fan in businesses in R130. I don't mind you having a sign 2 square feet and have an office in there. We've granted them before for an engineer or a consultant or a bookkeeper. But I'm afraid, that's my opinion, granting a demolition business, before we know it, you bring a truck full of demolition stuff, start blowing stuff over the neighbors, you put a trailer in there, all of a sudden becomes an office. How big is your lot?
It's just under 10,000 square feet.
I don't know. Troy, what do you think?
I agree with you.
And that's a Zone 2 area, so that's the recharge area for the water department. If you know that, right,
Yeah, I was looking through that.
Jimmy?
We had other people in your neighborhood run businesses out of the neighborhood, and the neighborhood was upset about it. And they originally started out as a landscaper with a one-man show, and thought they had set a precedent and became grandfathered, and ended up with multiple trucks and multiple utility trailers and cargo trailers and, what do they call them, Connex boxes, et cetera. And so things happen, and it's great for business to grow. We encourage that. But if I was going to vote in the affirmative, if I was going to grant you a home occupation out of that address, my motion would include it would be restricted to a maximum of one vehicle, and I would consider a trailer a vehicle. So that's my say.
Chris?
I agree with Jim. I think if I was gonna approve this, I would have to have put conditions on it, definitely. So, if his business grows, I don't want all these trucks and all these trailers and all. But, I mean, by right, anybody can have a 3/4 ton truck in their yard.
Right.
And can have a pull-behind trailer. So, but yeah, running a business, I think we would need to put conditions.
Rich?
Exactly, I was feeling that it could spiral.
I will agree to just 3/4 ton, because like he said, anybody could have a dump truck if it's registered. I mean, you bring trash on it, you have it covered, but I would personally put a restriction, no trailer, just your own truck. I know trailer will be registered, but it will be conditions, and that, it will be conditions on that permit if the board wishes to grant you this license, and you'll have to renew it every couple of years or every year. So if the commissioner or any of the neighbors complain, they won't renew it for you.
That would be the, sorry, that would be the business certificate renewing? Okay, yeah.
It won't be renewed, because it's gonna get renewed every year, and the commissioner will ask us if, and neighbor will come through and say, come forward, say, oh, this truck's full of trash, this and that. So it won't last long, so just so you know. If you're interested to have, and also you're gonna need you're gonna put a sign?
I wasn't planning on putting
because you
any
need a
sign.
variance for that. So I don't have a problem doing it with just a dump truck. If
Dump
that-
truck or a 1 ton with a dump?
Yeah, like any, I had one.
That's a
I
1
used to
ton,
drive-
not a 3/4
1 ton?
ton.
Yeah, like with 6-wheeler. I had one in my yard. I mean, I drove all over. I was my own car for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So dump truck or a 3/4 ton, one of those.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to say, I get on my own statement about trailers, et cetera, just because I'm saying each thing would be considered a vehicle, I wouldn't want to restrict this guy from having a boat on a trailer in his yard because of our decision.
Right. We like, boat will not be included.
Right, you know.
You can have a boat.
I just want to make it clear that I am a proponent, I believe in a one-man operation, I believe in small, well, you know, I remember 30 or 40 years ago going to the SBA and saying I wanted some help with a small business, and my idea of a small business was like you're doing, one guy doing some, and they said, well, you know, our small businesses, that 20-something, 30, no, maybe 40 years ago, a small business is you know, anything, you know, $500,000 to $5 million, you know, and that was their idea of small business. And when people talk about small business in this country, I'm all for the mom and pop stuff, is what I'm saying. So before we go on too long, I'd be willing to motion to close this hearing. I'd be willing to motion to grant a home occupation with the restriction of one vehicle.
All right. Anyone on the public want to speak in favor or against this matter? In Zoom, I hear none. So you heard the board, we'll have no problem grant you, so you get your certificate, one truck, and of course you can keep your cars as long as they're registered, that's, you know, and you could still have a boat or whatever you want, like a family member comes in with a camper, we're not gonna restrict that, okay? Connor, do you have a question? Are you catching up yet?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm clear. I would mirror the board's opinion to condition it to one truck, one singular, like, large dump truck, right? No trailer. Or what?
Doesn't even have to be a dump truck. I don't care if it's a Volkswagen Beetle.
Well, if we give him a dump truck and under, so it's, in case he ends up buying he's gonna need a dump.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that would be the max. We're just
Right.
telling what the
But
max
you could have a
is.
3/4 ton.
Let's have a little, one of them little tiny make-believe, I think I'm a pickup truck things that have 3 cylinders in them and,
The TikTok ones,
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
India.
And
I don't
no
have a,
trailer,
you know.
right? Or what?
What I think we might wanna, I don't know, might wanna consider, when you start taking a vehicle and then plastering, what do they call them, vinyls all over them, you know? That might be objectionable in that neighborhood if you lettered it up real outrageous. I've seen some commercial vehicles that are rolling billboards.
Yeah, you want a
Might
very
wanna
small
avoid
sign
that.
on your truck.
But-
Bottom line, you don't want no neighbors complaining.
Yeah.
Bottom line, because next year you'll get in trouble. Okay, let's move to close.
I make a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
A motion to close by Jim,
Second?
second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. Closed.
What's he looking for, a special permit? I make a motion to grant a special permit to run a home occupation, or home office, whatever language is, the scrivener decides is appropriate, for a one-man band. Well, we don't even have to say one-man band, because he could have 10 people working for him as long as they're not there.
Correct.
One vehicle, we want to restrict your business to one vehicle. How many, if your wife has, you know, a Jeep and a car, that's her business, but, you know.
For the business,
for the business. One vehicle,
ton
no
truck.
bigger than a 1-ton.
no bigger than 1-ton truck, and the findings not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood. Any discussion in the motion? Anything you guys want to add? Hearing none, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Chris. Chris?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Myself, Nazir, aye. It carries. All right, guy, you good? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Last one, 51-25, Lauren Mahoney, a variance, 62 Barlow Ave.
Want to hand me the papers from that last one so I can fold them and file them? Thank you.
Yeah,
let me
just,
read
I'll
it
let
in
you know, we
first.
gotta read it in first.
Lauren Mahoney, 62. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sick, so I'm like all stuffed up. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
People tell me I'm sick all the time, too. I don't think they're referring to the same thing.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Did I give you the main copy and, no, you're good, okay. The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on January 28th, 2026 at 6:30 PM in room 520 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 51-25 for variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 625 under the Wareham zoning bylaws due to Lauren Mahoney of 62 Barlow Avenue, Wareham, Mass., seeking relief of an already installed 120-square-foot shed on the principal dwelling located at 62 Barlow Avenue, Wareham, Mass. This appears on Wareham Assessors Map 78-1, Lot 168, in the R30 zoning district.
All right, now we need your name and address.
Lauren Mahoney, 62 Barlow Ave, West Wareham.
Okay, so as I understood, you built the shed, you get a permit, you put the shed, and you went to conservation approved you,
Correct.
but you were restricted to be so far from the wetland. That's why you had to put that shed a little forward, right?
Right.
And putting it forward, you end up encroaching. You're supposed to be in the front,
Now I'm too far in front of my house.
right, because if you go back, you'll be close to the wetland,
Yes.
correct? So that's what I gather from all this paperwork.
Well, that's a no-brainer then. She can't, she was forced to push it forward. Do we need to listen to a lot of testimony, or she sat here and listened to everybody else's BS?
No, I know, but this is, I mean, definitely, it's a hardship.
Yeah. I
All
make
right.
a motion to close the public portion.
Maybe we'll listen to Troy first. Troy,
I don't have any.
comment? Jimmy, I know you want to close. Chris?
I have no comment, I'm fine.
Rich?
I'm good with it. Close the
Anyone,
public portion?
one more time. Anyone in the public in favor? Anyone against on Zoom? I hear none. You want to add anything, Lauren?
No, thank you.
She don't want to add
Okay.
anything?
Make
Now
a
we can
motion to
close.
grant relief as requested.
Let's close first. We'll motion to close. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
And myself, it's aye, it's closed. Now the wishes.
Again, I move to grant relief as requested.
We have a motion to grant the variance, finding it meets statutory requirement of Mass General Laws 48, Chapter 10 or 17? 17?
Oh,
10. 17?
Yeah.
Section 17, it meets statutory
wait.
requirement.
For a variance? That's section 10.
10. Josh, 17, the appeal. So section 10, it meets a statutory requirement of section 10 of chapter 48. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Rich, all in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, aye. You good?
Thank you.
500, thank you. All right. Well,
Thanks for listening to everybody else's woes too all night
now
long.
you learned something, right?
Yeah.
Any other business?
Yeah, let's go talk quick about that zoning. The gentleman, well, Bob, what's his name? Bob? came
Bob
up.
Mitchell, with the Barrett Planning Group.
Right, so, I mean, that's a good approach. I think there's a lot of stuff in the zoning we should clean up. It's like clean up the zoning.
Yeah.
Uh,
So just to give you a little background on where we're at currently.
yeah,
So, the town was given a grant by the state for $100,000 to review our zoning bylaw and move forward with this project. We put out a request for proposals. I did a proposal opening. We scored 3 different applicants on, their ability to review our bylaw. We moved forward with the Barrett Planning Group. After we got the Barrett Planning Group involved, we created what is our zoning bylaw comprehension review committee, steering committee. It's way too many words and just as many letters. So we've been working with the group to move them in a certain direction. Initially, when we started out the project, we were going to look at, cleaning it up, reorganizing it, some policy changes, and hopefully bring it to the spring town meeting. Just understanding the deadlines of town meeting and, the information we'd have to put out before the planning board, spring town meeting became an impossible task to overcome. So currently what we're doing is we're working with the Barrett Planning Group. We're going to get a near complete final draft this summer, and we're looking to bring this forward for the fall town meeting. The information or the request that I put out to you all yesterday or this morning, whenever it was for specific instances in the bylaw where you see that there are potential issues or just issues that you guys have had trouble making determinations on. We're not looking for, section 4 is really unlegible or it's really hard to understand. We understand that there are a lot of places in the bylaw that already meet that, and we're addressing that currently. Our request is mostly procedural at that point.
Okay. Like I said before, field card and zoning map, very confusing.
Yep.
We had the issue at the car wash in West Wareham and Popeyes and the storage facility. The field card says one thing and the zoning map said another.
Yep.
So we granted some variance that didn't need to be granted and special permit that we didn't need it. So this we'd like to clarify. I think the zoning map is right. The field cards has to be changed.
Yeah, and that would be a task taken up by the assessing department.
Yeah.
That's not on what we're trying to do.
But when
here.
I listened to Bob earlier, it sounds like we need a new zoning map. Where, right now, we have the ambiguity of, we have a map of 2017 and a map of 2007. The written bylaw says we follow the 2007 map.
Yeah.
Neither map shows the Wareham Village 1 redevelopment district, which he claims is required to be shown on the map because it's in the bylaw. Therefore, I contend we need a whole new map.
That's accurate. And what was put forward when we brought I think it might have been 2020 when we actually looked at the newer map. And I think at that time the determination is the map and the zoning, the instances of laying out the actual zones were inconsistent. So the town decided not to adopt the new map because there were inconsistencies, and then the project just died. No one went back to really look out the inconsistencies and change them. Recreating or redefining the zoning map is a giant undertaking that will not be accomplished during what we're doing right now.
So what are we gonna stick with, 17 or,
Seven.
7?
I would stick with 7.
Yeah.
Stick with 7, I mean, that's where we've been hanging our hats.
Yeah,
Because the bylaw always referred to 2007.
correct.
So is the 7 map sufficiently adequate? Why couldn't we just superimpose the
Yeah.
on top of it?
It's possible, but like I said,
Draw it in with a green pen and photocopy it on a color copier, right?
I don't think it's
Digitally
that.
scan it.
Yeah, it's not that simple, but
I am.
it's an undertaking that we will likely take up in the near future.
And does this is housekeeping, this isn't new bylaws, this isn't altering bylaws.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be policy changes, but they will likely only be based on where the bylaw is inconsistent with the state law. So where we identify that, for example, the sky is blue, our bylaw says it's red, the state says it's blue. We are going to propose those type of changes because upon appeal, they would quickly get overturned.
But if I decided, we're going through the bylaws, and I want the chart to say bouncy houses are allowed to be used in every district in Wareham, and you can store up to 7,000 of them in your basement, that would be improper.
We are not going to take up those policy changes in this
That's, I'm
activity.
just, yeah.
Yeah, my concern is he kept saying the state. Well, we just saw a good example of letting the state get in the middle of our little town, Wareham, because Wareham's a little different from a lot of other towns. And I wouldn't want to see variances or special permits or anything done away with, because there's always something in this town that needs it. And secondly, the example that I'm using is the fact that we approve a set of plans for the Taunton thing, and the state comes in and makes it 16 feet. He makes it 16 feet. Now the guy's going to spend a year and a half fighting it, trying to get it straightened out. So I'm a little leery of somebody that sits up on Tremont Street in Boston is going to tell me, oh, the town has to straighten it out to come along with the state. Well, let me tell you, the state doesn't do such fine work, what I've seen so far.
All right.
I'm
But they are-
sorry, I just,
No,
I
I
can't
know what you're
stand
saying,
somebody
15
sitting on a,
feet, 20 feet, and-
I can't stand somebody sitting up there going, "Oh, you go to clean it up."
Hunting
They
crazy.
don't live in Wareham, they don't know what Wareham's all about, and Wareham's just like West Wareham. You say you gotta drive through it to see it. Well, does he think anybody from the state ever drives through there? So, I'm a little leery with cleaning up things a little too much, because too much house cleaning ruins a lot.
Well, the state laws overrule ours.
It doesn't
right?
matter, yeah, well,
So that's-
cleaning up
that's
is
what
one
he's
thing.
talking about.
Cleaning up one thing, but doing away with other things, I'm really concerned with.
I'm not sure, I understand the intent of what you said, Chris, but I'm not sure that the way I understand the law, there's federal, state, and local. And the federal can make a law that says, okay, everybody that wants to have a gun has to have a green gun. And then the state can say, okay, it has to have, they can further restrict. The further you go down the list, you can further, okay, everybody that wants to have a gun, it has to be green, but it has to have an orange trigger. You can further restrict it. And then the town can say, yeah, okay, we'll go along with your green gun and your orange trigger, but it has to have a rubber stopper on the back of it in order to have it in Wareham. You can further restrict it.
Yeah, you can't less restrict.
But that doesn't mean that the federal overrules. They can't come along and say, nope, we said green and that's it. As long as you got a green gun, you don't have to have those other things. The state and the local further restrictions continue to apply.
But
That's the way I
while we're
understand
at the subject,
Huh?
you're right, while we're at the subject, the ADUs, I like what Plymouth and Falmouth did with the ADUs, which I'd like to see one day we doing this here.
What's that?
Well, Falmouth and Plymouth said, if you want an ADU, you have to live in it or live in the main house. So you can't be a developer and build the ADU.
I thought that was part of the,
I thought that was too.
I thought that was part of the
I thought you did
original-
have to, yeah, live on the
Right.
property.
The state is, for instance, I got so many, few rental properties. So right now, each one of them, I could go add an ADU to each one.
As the landlord and have tenants in both.
Right. So at each house, I could add an ADU and rent it, each one.
I thought you had to live on the property.
No, not the state, but Falmouth and Plymouth took it further, said if you want an ADU, you have to live in one of either the ADU or the house.
either-
Right now, you could build the ADU.
Either of the two have to be owner occupied.
Put in place previous to the state ADU law.
Gotta go up to a mic.
Come on up.
Maybe you know something we don't know. Come on. State your name again.
Jim Manise.
Sit down, sorry, you don't have to.
My friend Mark Zatharas had built an ADU in Falmouth. And they had their ADU previous to the state implementation of their rules and regulations. So that's how they restricted it. You have to live in the house, and then you can build an ADU only if you live there. That was previous to the state's implementation, which they say you don't have to live there.
Right. And another thing, if you look at the state law with the ADU, they say anywhere that you allowed to build a single residential unit, you allow the ADU. So in other words, in the industrial park, you can't build a single family, so you can't have an ADU. However, what's the big project on Red Brook Road? Cove? Woodlands Cove?
Woodlands Cove.
Woodlands Cove, they could come tomorrow, say we want an ADU. They're eligible for ADU because that law is, you could build a single family home there. It was a residential law. You could do a single family. So they could add one ADU in there. So the town, I would like to see something written by the planning board or the zoning board or for the next town meeting, restricting these things, saying, well, if you want the ADU, you should live in it or rent it, but you live in the main house.
I don't think we can require owner occupancy.
No? Okay. But
I'll do
Falmouth
some-
did, didn't they? So-
I'll do some I'll do some research on Plymouth and Falmouth, but from what I understand, I don't think we're able to impose that requirement.
If we could, that would be a good idea. I
Plus, it's so broad, like, it should be for 1 or 2 family at least, not for 3, 4, 5, 6 families.
Well,
You could still add the ADU. Like we had last time here, somebody with 3 family add the ADU. When does it stop? I understand for 1 unit or duplex, like a person who needs help, build an ADU, or for a family or a duplex, an ADU, yeah, but not for when you have 5 units, or 10 or 20.
That's, my interpretation was it's single and maybe a two-family.
No, I actually brought the law with me.
You read it and you reread it, and I didn't go looking for that. I didn't go with, that
See,
in mind, so.
I got it right here. Under Massachusetts state law, a 3-family unit property is generally allowed to have an accessory. Well, actually, I wrote this checking on that one Highland Terrace, but so that's why it says a 3-family. A 3-family unit property is generally allowed to have an accessory dwelling unit (ADU) if the property is in the single-family zoning district. The local regulation may have specific limitation. Affordable Home Acts, ADU to be built, right, whatever, and you have to meet the, building code and stuff. So in other words, the state says even 3-family, you're still allowed to do ADU, and 4-family and 5-family.
I read it different. It said if it's in a single-family zoning district. So if you have MR 30, that's not a single-family zoning district.
Yeah, you
That's
could
a
do
multifamily zoning
It's
district.
wherever a single-family residence is
Can be
allowed
built.
by right.
You can less to use a lot. You can put one house on a multifamily lot, but that doesn't mean it's zoned as a single family. I think Governor Healy made a rule that said all single-family lots could have an ADU. I don't think she
No, it
said
doesn't.
all single-family, multifamily, and apartment buildings can have an ADU. I don't
As
think
long
that-
as you could build a single family, you can.
ADUs are allowed by right in the zoning districts that allow single-family residents.
As long as you could do one, so in other words, they don't want you to put it in a commercial zone unless commercial allows in the town of single-family house. For instance, if you have a commercial lot in Cranberry Highway, if you could put if the bylaw of Wareham says you could put a house, that means you could have ADU. The industrial park doesn't allow you, so you can't have ADU there. So as long as you could put, it's like the test. If you could put one single family in that lot, that means you could have ADU.
So what if
whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the test, one single family.
So if it's zone strip commercial, which doesn't provide for a single-family home,
You can do ADU.
you get a variance for a single-family home, you wait a while, and you come back and you say, hey, I want an ADU, I want a
Correct.
single-family home.
No, because single-family homes aren't allowed by right in that zoning.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, I thought Glen Charlie Road was CS at the top.
So,
Glen
Right.
Charlie Road is,
The old Glen Charlie Road, wasn't that commercial strip up there? And that's why we had, what's his?
no, but he has the footage and the frontage. He
And-
did
and-
for
and
you.
there was a-
It wasn't ADU. He had
No,
the,
but I'm just saying, there's areas in town that it's commercial strip.
Yeah.
And there's residential houses that are already there.
right.
So how would that go
That's
if
what
they're
Mr.
already
Mani
there?
said.
Like
What
my
happened
house.
if you're existing?
Like my house, it's in commercial general. I don't think I'm allowed to put a ADU up.
No? Because it's commercial, you're not allowed to.
ADUs are allowed by right in zoning districts that allow a single-family
Right.
residence.
But
by
he's not
right.
allowed. He's a commercial.
Right,
So you can't do ADU.
right, you would need a special permit or a variance.
Right.
I'm sure it'll further like fine tune this law because it's no. But anyway,
you can't do that, you can't do that in a bylaw review. This is all,
I just want to step back to one thing Rich
Yeah.
had brought up earlier. You had mentioned doing away with special permits and variances. And I think what Bob was trying to address, and we actually discussed this at our meeting, he said our bylaw allows the board to issue those by simple majority, not supermajority. What I've determined is that you guys were procedurally doing them the right way. You were acting as a supermajority. The bylaw language was just inconsistent with the state law.
Right.
So,
But this,
you know, the
state-
board understood it was a supermajority. I understood it was a supermajority. We were issuing permits as supermajorities, but our bylaw said that it was a simple majority.
Right, but the bylaw, as Jim explained, you can't do lesser. The state requires a variance supermajority.
Right.
So even the bylaw says simple majority, it won't fly in
Right.
court.
It-
But it'll be nice to fix it.
Yeah,
It'll be nice to fix it.
we're not getting rid of these things.
Right. Anything else, guys?
Motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Connor?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. Thank you. Yes. That's back on. Resend our vote. Reopen quick. We have to do this right. Just sit down. Just quick one. We have to reopen the public hearing. Reopen.
Make a motion to reopen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Troy.
Aye.
Jim. Chris. You don't-
Yes.
Yes. Rich.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay, Sonia had texted us. The one for 17 Atlantic Ave, it was voted to be continued for today. So if we're gonna go February 11, we have to make a motion to continue. Jimmy, you told me it was set for February 11. She's saying no, she's reading it.
I agree. I agree
So
with
we
that.
need to, and there's an attorneys involved
She
and
made
stuff.
me look her right in the eyes when she explained it to me, and I didn't listen to her.
All right, so we go back to 45-25, 17 Atlantic Ave LLC, special permit and a variance, 17 Atlantic Ave,
So we need a motion to continue that until
February 11.
February 11th. So moved.
I have a motion by Jim to continue February 11. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And myself, Nazir, aye. Now we can motion to
So
adjourn.
now go ahead, let somebody reclose it.
A motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Rich. You have a second?
By Troy.
Troy, by Troy. All in favor, say aye. Connor?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Aye.
Rich, Chris, and myself, Nazir, aye. Adjourn. You're welcome, Sonia.